On Wednesday, October 17th, 1928, in the evening session of our first annual convention, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali took an American flag and he put it around a little boy whose name was Willie Mack Morris Eel. Then he took the Moorish flag and he put it around the shoulders of a little girl, Sister Grace Berry Eel. And on that night, October 17th, Wednesday, October 17th, 1928, at the first annual convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the prophet stated, "I have made you a nation within a nation." The prophet also stated, with this parade, our nationality, with this parade, our nationality began in this government. That is when the Moorish nation was founded. October 17th, Wednesday, October 17th, 1928. All Moorish Americans should celebrate the founding of our nation. As Moorish Americans, we don't put enough energy into celebrating our Independence Day, the very first date that the Moorish American nation was founded in these shores of North America. We have to put more energy into it, Moors. We have to be more celebratory of our fantastic nation that has existed for the past 92 years. This will bring national pride up amongst our people, and it'll also awake our unconscious and let them know that they have a nation and that the Moorish Americans all around the world, and especially in North America, are so excited and so proud to have a nation. As a Moorish American who proclaimed my nationality in 1991, I haven't been to one celebration that expressly celebrates our national day, the day of October 17th, 1928. I haven't been to one. And at this space, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I should have created that. Maybe I should do more to perpetuate and celebrate the Moorish Americans, the ones who were Negroes, blacks, and colors, and descendants of slaves, were now a nation within the United States of America. So today I want to talk to you about how the prophet and news medias acknowledge October 17th and the Moorish Americans. I want to talk about Act 6 of the Divine Constitution and bylaws. And finally, I want to suggest some ways that we as Moorish Americans can celebrate our Independence Day, that Wednesday, October 17th, 1928, and how we should celebrate it from October 17th, 2020 into infinity. So I'm going to read to you a part out of the Chicago Defender that in the early 1920s, in the beginning of the movement, the Defender covered the Moorish Americans extensively. And so this is out of the 1928 edition of the Chicago Defender, and I'm going to read the excerpt for you, and I want you to research and pull it up. The title of the article from 1928 is Moorish Head Makes Plea for Conclave, and this is an excerpt from it. Beginning October 15th and continuing throughout the entire week, the Moorish Science Temple of America, of which Noble Drew Ali is the founder and president, will hold its first general conference at Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. President Ali began definite plans to this end upon his recent return from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where he spent several days lecturing at a local Moorish temple. This organization is playing a useful and definite part in advancing the sacred obligations of American citizenship. Indicators are that this convention will be one of the most interesting ever held in the city, and that city being Chicago, Illinois. It will be featured by delegates attending and pilgrims from 15 different states where local temples have been established. There will be an interesting parade in which women members will wear regalia similar to those worn in Eastern countries. A camel will be used. So on that Wednesday, that day of Wednesday, October 17th, 1928, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali marched from a few miles, and I want to say it started at Unity Hall, but I wasn't there. I don't have the definite start of the parade. But what happened was Moors dressed in the ancient robes of our forefathers, and we marched from 31st in Indiana to 39th and Federal to what would have been our new temple site. And you see that picture, that great picture with the large, it's a wide picture, and there's Moors and there are Moorish flags. You see the band in the back, and you see that we did a parade that had never been seen amongst Asiatics or Europeans in Chicago, or possibly, quite possibly, across the United States of America. On that date that we need to cherish and celebrate, Wednesday, October 17, 1928, we should be celebrating. We should be parading. Also, I'm going to give you another subject, another snippet, a part of another article that was in the Chicago Defender, and it reads, "Whole session of Moorish science body. Many delegates from temples attend. The annual convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America opened October 14th at Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder and head of the body, will preside over the sessions, which closed Saturday evening. More than 1,000 delegates from 15 temples in America were reported present during these meetings. Following the registrations at headquarters, Monday reports were read by two grand governors, T. Crumbie Bay, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Lomax Bay of Detroit, Michigan. Tuesday evening, the welcome address was delivered by Alderman Louis B. Anderson. Other speakers were Oscar the Priest, the Third Ward Committeeman, Dr. Roman Dr. Roman of Meharry Medical College out of Nashville, Tennessee. Attorney George C. Blackwell and Aaron Payne. Richard Payne was Master of Ceremonies, and Claude D. Green, Managing Editor of the Moorish Guide, is Chairman of the Arrangement Committees, which has worked hard to get everything in splendid order for the reception of the visitors. Wednesday, a parade was held. Noble Drew Ali told us that we are to proclaim our nationality, and our nation started on October 17th, 1928. We should be super proud Moors. We should be flying our flags and celebrating in grand fashion all across the country. And with that being said, I want to now turn your attention to Act 6 of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And Act 6 states, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names are given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must reclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem man from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. So Noble Drew Ali told us how to proclaim. He told us we needed to proclaim. And on October 17th, 1928, that's when the nation was founded. That's when the prophet put the flag around Brother Morris Ill and Sister Berry Ill and said, you are now a nation on that night. And Moors, we don't celebrate it enough. So how should we celebrate? I think we should get a parade around the date of October 17th. Some people don't want to do it on that day, but if it's a weekend, let's do a parade or something in a grand fashion around that. Now, does that mean every grand body will attend? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. But every Moorish American, every group of Moors should be trying to celebrate that date around October 17th. We should fly our flags just as other nations. They attach their flags to their cars. They drive around. They celebrate. We need to celebrate. And yes, you should put both flags up. Put the Moorish flag and the American flag up if you want to celebrate. But at very minimum, put your Moorish flag up. Because that's when we became a nation. We should fellowship and break bread with our Moors on October 17th. That's celebrating the first day of the Moorish American nation. This is something that isn't celebrated widely enough. We should gather in large numbers. Maybe you have Moors meet on the Washington Mall and put that Moorish flag up and that American flag and teach our nationality to our people. We need to create spectacles to celebrate how proud we are that Allah lost us a prophet that made us a nation within a nation. We should be very, very proud and very excited behind that. So, we should also pray on that day. We should do a national prayer, our national prayer, which is the Moorish American prayer. And Moors at a certain hour, maybe high noon, Moorish Americans gather and we say that Moorish American prayer. So now, please share this idea. And I want you to know that, October 17th is the first day of our nation. Share it with the Moors all around what you have, and let's do that, okay? Let's celebrate ourselves, all right? Peace and love.